The village of Kiaru was quiet under the night sky. The soft glow of the moon illuminated the rooftops, and the air was cool and still. It was a night like no other. A young woman, Amina, the daughter of the village blacksmith, stared out of her window. The cool breeze tugged at her hair as she gazed at the distant hills, her heart beating fast. Tonight was different. Amina had been warned since childhood about the forbidden love that could never bloom in their village. Love between a blacksmith daughter and a warrior was cursed. Yet here she stood, lost in thought about a man she dared not love. His name was Odion, tall and strong, a warrior known for his bravery. She knew she would never be able to turn away from him. It was said that the sky would split open before such a law could ever be accepted. But tonight, something felt strange. The winds whispered promises of the impossible. The village square was silent, except for the sound of metal clinking against metal. Amina's father, the blacksmith, worked on his forge, hammering a new sword into shape. Nearby, Odion stood, his tall, broad-shouldered figure a stark contrast to the delicate craft of the blacksmith. He waited patiently for the sword to be completed. Their eyes met briefly. For a moment, it felt as though time stopped. Odion's deep brown eyes lingered on Amina. She felt her heart race, and she quickly turned her gaze downward. But she couldn't ignore the pull, a quiet understanding between them. There was something between them that neither could deny. Amina's hand shook as she walked beside her father. She was not supposed to feel this way. Yet, it was in the quiet moments like this when their souls connected. But the village would never understand. Later that evening, Amina's mother, a wise woman who had seen the weight of their village customs, called her into the hut. Her voice was filled with fear, yet there was no denying the love she had for her daughter. Amina, she whispered, the elders have seen something in the stars. The gods do not favor this love. If you follow this path, both you and Odion will suffer. This is not a warning. It is a curse. Remember, the skies never lie. The words haunted Amina's heart. Could she bear to live without Odion? Was the love of a warrior worth defying the gods? The next night, when the village was asleep, Amina sneaked out to meet Odion. They met at the edge of the forest, where no one would dare to follow. The moonlight danced on the leaves, as if encouraging them to take the risk. Odion gently took her hands in his, and for a moment, all doubts may tell the way. Without a word, he kissed her. The kiss was a soft promise, a seal of faith. Amina's heart was racing, and she knew she had crossed a line. There was no going back. The elders, old men and women who kept the village traditions, were soon aware of the glowing bond between Amina and Odion. The fire of their rage burned hotter than the blacksmith forge. They called for the couple to appear before them. You defy the will of the gods, the one elder said. His voice like gravel. The curse of the forbidden law will fall upon you, and your village will never know peace again. Amina's heart sank as the weight of the village's anger pressed down upon her. The words of the elder were a warning, but also a sentence. With the elder's warning echoing in her mind, Amina fled the village under the cover of darkness. she sought Odion, knowing that if they stayed, both would be doomed. Together, they ran into the hills, leaving the village behind, their hearts full of fear, but also full of hope. They had nowhere to go, but together they were free. The cost of their love had already started to unfold. As the days passed, they found refuge in a remote village, but not all was as it seemed. The chief of the village, a man of great power, was intrigued by Amina's beauty and Odion's strength. But when Odion refused to serve him, his jealousy turned to rage. He betrayed them, leading soldiers to capture them. The twist of fate was cruel. Love was never meant to be easy, and betrayal was always lurking, waiting to tear apart what they have fought for. The village that betrayed them had been crushed by the gods. Crops withered, and sickness spread like wildfire. The village elders, realizing their mistake, begged Amina and Odion to return. They needed to appease the gods, and only the lovers could lift the curse. The curse had come full cycle. What was once forbidden now held the power to save them all. Amina and Odion stood in front of the elders, offering their love as sacrifice to the gods. In an ancient ritual, they tied their hands together and prayed for forgiveness. The skies above them parted, and the light shone down. The curse was lifted. The sky cracked open, not in anger, but in peace. Their love had saved them, but it had also set them free. In the days that followed, the village flourished once more, the crops returned to life, and the sickness faded away. Amina and Odion were no longer outcasts, but celebrated heroes. Their love had not only defied the odds, but had brought salvation. Love had blossomed in the most unlikely of places, and though it had been forbidden, it had become the greatest gift the village had ever known. Like and subscribe to our stories. Subscribe to our channel, comment, share for more stories like this. Thank you.